Funny. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Guys, we are about to start. Please, can we settle down? What's the problem? It's your,
Hello, hear us or hear me? It's simple.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so but now it's connected to you need to get it back there.
That's right.
Your PC.
No,
You have to connect more for the product. And
okay, yeah, I think we should just get started and we will try and finish early today. It's gonna be short sessions. And yeah, for now, I just want to have the mic connected. Can you hear me at the back? Some can, some can't.
Maybe they should try to be quiet.
Mhm. All right. So this is what's going to happen today. This is the agenda. Before we get started with the agenda, I always want to ask, how are you guys? Thumb down. Okay, elaborate. Let's see. Thumbs to the side. Okay. Thumbs down. What's up? No, no, I saw you. I saw you. What's up? What's going on? Are you tired? Okay. Anyone else? Thumbs down. What's wrong? Don't want to say. Okay, that's fine. All right. So the agenda for today will be hearing from Paul DeVito, who's gonna talk to us about work placements and how you can find yourself with a an offer of employment by January 2026 or not. Um, and then in our second session, we're gonna have a chat with the partnerships team, which is Wimho as well as Chris. And we're gonna have session three, sorry, that's supposed to be three. We're gonna talk marketing with Mswaki. Thereafter, we have a surprise visitor who also wants to speak to you guys. Um, and no, it's not Mandela. Obviously, obviously, you can't talk right now. So I don't know if Mpo, are you okay to start? Fantastic.
Yes, I am. Yes, I
Should I
am.
continue sharing or will you share your screen?
You can continue sharing. I only have 2 slides, so it's fine.
Yes, it's lagging.
Mpo, would you like to share or should I share?
No, it's fine. You can share. You can just move to the next slide.
Okay, fantastic. Please do get started. Because,
Okay. In the meantime, while I'm getting the slide, good morning, guys. I think I introduced
oh, you
myself
got
on
YouTube.
Monday,
Yeah.
but I am Mpho Dipitso. I'm your current placements lead at We Think Code. So, as I said, a big part of my job is assisting you guys with preparing you for the world of work. That is a big part of placements, aside from the work placement, trying to find your internships. A big part of what
Um,
Humutsu and I
Mpo,
do. Yes?
Mpo, so sorry, can you just give us a minute? Let's sort out the audio at the back.
Okay, no problem.
Please say something. Let's test out.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you just speaking? Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Those at the back, can you hear?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can take it away, Mpo.
Awesome. Okay, sorry, doing this again. So again, hi everyone. So from Monday, as I did introduce myself, I'm Mputi Bitso, the placements lead at We Think Code. So a big part of my job is to make sure that you guys are, first of all, work ready and interview ready when you do start your placement season, which we usually start with you guys around June of every year. So you guys will start to engage with Homoto and I more often in June. So what we do is that we make sure that you guys go through relevant placements workshops, interview workshops, just to make sure you know what to expect when you do go out onto internship and what you will prospectively receive when you do go into interviews. And what we do is also prepare you for the world of work, guys, because for a lot of you, not all of you have experienced the workplace before. Some of you have just hopped off from matric and entered the program, or unfortunately finished schooling and didn't have the experience of working before. A few of you have worked before, so this is just an additional benefit. But what we essentially do is make sure that we can upskill you to the point that when you go on to internship, we know, okay, that not only are you a competent software developer, but you're also a competent employee of that organization. So if you had all read your contracts when you started at Within Code and when you signed, you have a few contractual obligations. So, should you receive work placement through us, please, you are obligated to work a 4 month work placement at the end of your second year. So, when you start your internship, or once a company has come forward to say that they would like to hire you, you have to do the 4 month work placement at that organization. And then after those 4 months, depending on your performance, again, not everything is guaranteed. Everything that you do when you are on internship is dependent on your performance. You may receive a permanent employment offer from the organization where you were interning at. Should you receive that permanent employment offer, then you're obligated to stay with that partner for at least a year until you are able to then move on to another organization. But we do, again, you may not remember all these details. We will cover it again in our placements workshops with you guys once we do get to you. And please remember that you guys are ambassadors of We Think Code. I think a lot of you forget that when you go out, when you post on LinkedIn, when you post everywhere, you have that We Think Code badge. My favorite time of the year is when you guys start getting jobs on campus, or you start being a student at We Think Code. My timeline on LinkedIn is flooded with starting my journey as a student at We Think Code, or starting my journey as a front desk at We Think Code, or technical mentor, or whatever it is that comes with being associated at We Think Code. Or at the end of the We Think Code program, you get the I have now completed my time at We Think Code. Carrying the We Think Code brand is very important. What you do on your social media pages, what you do on your LinkedIn profiles, what you do when you attend hackathons, tech talks, conferences that are hosted around the different cities and where you guys do, because we know a lot of We Think Code students are very active in going to all these events that happen, all tech events that happen. You are ambassadors. You are the reason why partners come and look and say that, oh, I had such a great conversation with one of your students at an event that I was attending, or I saw your students participate at a hackathon that I was judging or that I just happened to attend, and I thought how great they are. And then from there, how you portray yourself and how you hold yourself up in industry is how people perceive us as We Think Code. And you are definitely the reason why people come to us and want to hire We Think Code graduates and students. So it's very important that when you are out there and you are part of the program, and even when you leave the program, because you are an alumni of our program and you do carry the brand, understand the importance that lies with you being an ambassador of We Think Code. Should you find your own placement again, why not be the stepping stone for other We Think Code graduates to get into that organization? Because you do so well at your internship, at your job, that a company says that actually, I think the next time around, I want to hire We Think Code candidates because I had such a great experience with We Think Coders. But again, this is a double-edged sword. When you guys go out and you go and put your name into disrepute and you perhaps get to work late, let's just say you are on internship, you get to work late, you're not submitting your leave requests, your work from home requests along the proper channels, you are asking questions to the wrong people, you are spreading off a gossip, you are not conducting yourself as a good employee. Forget about conducting yourself as a good We Think Code intern, just yourself as a good employee. Those things come back to us, and it's a reflection on, is this what We Think Code is training their students to do, that they don't know how to submit a leave request, when in actual fact you guys are learning that by doing it on Simple Pay. You don't know how to come to work on time, when in actual fact you guys know that you need to be on campus 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and that there's a specific time window on which you should be on campus. These are all the things that are preparing you for the world of work, that you don't know that you need to join meetings on time when you do go to work, but then you guys have stand-ups with your tech mentors, with your team members on a daily basis. Those are the things that are training you to become good employees when you go out onto industry. So again, the little soft skills, the little things make or break. We have partners that come back and say that we had students who came here who honestly didn't participate in the program properly. They were not well behaved, they were terrible employees, and they didn't follow the proper channels of the organization. And let you know that they cut those internships. Some people have been fired on the first day of their internship. Some people have been fired after a month. Some people don't even make it to the end of the 4 months, or they do make it to the end of the 4 months, and companies say that actually I don't want to absorb this person, and I actually don't think I'd like to come back and get talent from Within Code. So I really, really want to stress the point that you guys are our ambassadors. You are the reason why people look at us. You are the reason why people want talent from us. So if that can be something that sinks in for you now up until you finish the program, guys. So then the next point is preparing for work placement. So as I did say, we do a lot of workshops with you guys. You will find that we will come to your campus in Rosebank. You guys see us all the time, but in Cape Town, we most probably travel to you guys for some certain in-person workshops. So what we want is making sure that you're delivering your coursework on time, guys. And then what we also host are partner days. Partner days are days where we ask any companies that are looking to hire students, or any companies that are just looking to spread their word, to come onto our campus one day around September of every year, just so that you guys are exposed to the different roles and the different types of companies that are in various industries within the tech world. We all think that software developers, but we forget that you have testers, you have your cloud engineers, and we want you guys beyond the scope of We Think Code to know what other roles lie beyond We Think Code once you do go into your placement season and you start looking for employment opportunities. As mentioned, we also do work readiness workshops with you guys. So making sure, or interview readiness workshops with you guys, so that you're prepared for what happens when you get into an interview. We want you to be as prepared as possibly so that you have the best chance of getting a positive outcome in your interview. So making sure that you guys understand that you need to join your interviews on time if they're online. You need to arrive 15 minutes before if the interview is in person. Making sure that when you are doing your interviews online, are you making sure that your camera angle is correct? Can we see you properly? Are you dressed appropriately? Is your background clear? Is your sound working through? Homozen, I put in so much effort into making sure that you guys understand what it is to make sure that you get a positive experience in your interview, so that your interviewer doesn't have to question that, ooh, Umpo's hair looked a mess, or in the background I had bottles of alcohol, or my dog was walking past, or my mom, and everything was going on, or you could hear the sounds of the taxis from outside. Making sure that what your interviewer can focus on is just you and only you in that interview, thus giving you the better chance of your interviewer hearing you clearly. And making sure that you get a positive outcome, and preparing you for the types of questions. So what we do is that we ask performance, we ask the people who write your curriculum to just give us suggestions on questions that we can ask you in our mock interview sessions. So mock interview is a session where we would ask people who are in industry or alumni to host a session with you guys and conduct a mock interview. So it's like a trial interview, an interview before an interview, so that you guys kind of know what to anticipate in an interview. And they will be asking you questions that we have generally heard a lot of hiring partners ask you questions that the curriculum team should expect you be able to answer. And what we do want is that we don't generally always ask you very soft skilled questions. We do ask you very technical questions because, again, you aren't just students, you're students who are looking to become software developers. So, in order to be a software developer, you need to be able to speak tech. And if you cannot speak tech and articulate your work properly, then why would a company want to hire you if you are someone who doesn't know how to articulate yourself in technical terms? So that's what we do in mock interviews. So we often schedule those sessions, but we also ask that you guys in placement season also have your own mock interviews with your peers, with your groups, with your team, so that you're better prepared for when you do go on to interviews. And a big part of this is that you guys need to start taking your peer reviews very seriously. It seems as though the problem starts when you're just in the cohort, and when you are reviewing each other, you're not speaking technically enough to each other, or when you're presenting, you're not speaking tech. So if there's one tip I can give you now until you get to placement season, is that if you could start now and speaking more technically to each other when you are reviewing each other, so that it shows that you have a complete understanding of the concepts that you're using. And then from there, what we also do is we facilitate your interviews and placements with companies that come forward to say that they're looking for candidates from our organization. So, what can happen is that a company will come forward and say that I'm looking to interview a few students. Then, when we get to the time, you guys will be on our placement system. We will shortlist according to the criteria that was given to us by that organization. So, should they say they only want candidates in Joburg, we will send them all the available candidates from Joburg. From there, they will filter through and inform us who it is that they would like to interview. Sometimes companies do the interviews themselves, but majority of the time, we are the ones that facilitate the interviews on behalf of those companies. And we will make sure to take you through the interview process. We will schedule it on your behalf, but we need you to come to the team. We don't want to have to phone you 1,000 times. We don't want to have to phone your next of kin. Nothing is more embarrassing than us having to phone your mom and be like, hey, your child is not answering the phone and they're scheduled for an interview. They haven't read this email in 2 days. Not only do we, as a placements team, then become worried that this person doesn't understand the urgency with which interviews are happening, but what's going to happen when you do go out onto work because you seem kind of unreliable at this point in time. So please start building the habit of looking at your emails on a daily basis, which is a skill that we've noticed lacks. So if you could please look at your emails from now until the end of your careers. Make it a habit of making sure that you're looking at your emails, that you're looking at your calendars, that you're checking them for any and every update that might take place. And then we also help you with your placements. So your onboarding, giving you the instructions of where you need to go. And then we do a few check-ins with you guys when you do go out onto internships. So a check-in just before you start your internship, a check-in when you are on internship, and then just before your contract is about to end, just to hear what is the outcome of your internship. We also check in with your employers as well, to see how you are doing on internships so that they can give us feedback as to your performance, because that not only helps us give you feedback, but it also aids us in making sure that we can adjust the placements program to be as tailored to the industry as possible. Now, a very big part is, guys, you need to be eligible for placements. We do not place students who failed. The We Think Code program is a very big thing. So you at least need to be graduation eligible for We Think Code. But I'll talk about the criteria in the next slide because this year we're doing things a lot differently. And placements is not guaranteed. We're here to assist you with becoming work ready. That is what Khomotso and I's biggest job is to do, is to make sure that each and every one of you who are part of this cohort are work ready and interview ready. So that even if it is that you get to the point where maybe you want to start applying for jobs on your own outside and not waiting for placements to try and find an opportunity for you, that you know that, okay, Mpon Khomotso taught me how to write a very tech savvy CV that makes sure that it reflects well in industry. So when I apply for jobs, I know that it's formatted correctly, it's been reviewed by my peers. I don't have to go over it. All I need to do now is update it. Make sure that your LinkedIn profiles are good enough that when you are applying for jobs externally, it reflects what it is that the industry is actually looking for. Making sure that you understand what are the criteria characteristics of good software development engineers, interns when they go out onto industry, so that we can give you the best possible chance of securing a job, whether through us or through your own application. All we ask is that you guys work together with us so that we can make sure that you are the best candidate. I believe I said on Monday that I'm not in the business of trying to place mediocre or average software developers. I don't think you want to be mediocre or average software developers. You wouldn't have come to We Think Code if there wasn't something that was burning, or if there wasn't a passion inside of you that made you want to be in the tech industry. And I need you guys to think about it now. What is it about the tech industry that fuels you? What is your passion for it? And that's the thing that really shines through. More often than not, we find that the students who are very passionate about the tech industry, who make sure that they delve into the tech industry, and when you see them, you just know that this person wants to be a software engineer, or they want to be a QA tester, or whatever it is within the tech space that it is you're looking for. Those are the people who often do well. You guys are in February of 2025, you're finishing in December. If you didn't get it the first 5 months that you've been in the program, you have another 8 months to, oh, yeah, another 10 months, another 10 months to make sure that you guys are equipping yourself, are positioning yourself in such a way that you are the most wanted tech talent at We Think Code, but we want to make sure that you become the most wanted tech talent in Africa. But I can't do that alone. We need you guys to participate. We need you guys to train. We need you guys to want it as badly as we want to place you, as badly as Homoto and I are fighting for in the background, as much as Chris is going out and asking partners, informing partners to come forward. We have great talent at We Think Code. Why not partner it with us? We need you guys to reflect what it is that we are informing people in industry. Okay. We can go to the next slide. Okay. So placements criteria or placements eligibility criteria, sorry, tongue twister. We usually used to just take in your placements, workshop participation. But what we've seen is that we want to make sure that you are whole rounded. So you as a whole are able to go out onto industry because of all the many things that you've done at We Think Code that make you a good software developer. So at the time when we do get you guys in placements, we will revisit this. But just so you know that we have many contributing factors. So we will take into consideration your performance. Okay. So are you graduation eligible? So we will track that towards the end of the year. That's when performance will tell us. But from now on, we will start to monitor your placement, your performance marks. So how are you doing with your submissions? How are you doing with your assessments? And making sure that we have an overall view of the kind of academic student that you are. And tracking your performance warnings. So just seeing that, have you ever gotten a performance warning at any point in time? Did you adjust what happened? Were things put in place? Your campus attendance. Yes, at this point, campus attendance is something that we're still going into. But once placement season starts, we should be at a place where we are able to effectively track and see and have an overview of how you were on campus. And when you were absent, were you logging leave? The kind of things that you would need to be able to see when you go and you are an employee of an organization. And all of these will have a weight into your placements criteria. You should receive that document at the time when we start working with you. And then, as I mentioned, placements has their own workshops. So your participation in our workshops, firstly, your attendance to our workshops, and then submitting the activities post our workshops, because we'll have a workshop and then we'll do an activity after each and every workshops to make sure that we're more engaged and interactive. So did you submit it? When did you submit it? If you did, was it late? Was it complete? Did you do it half-heartedly? And we're definitely going to monitor these. Your mock interview attendance, so making sure you attended your mock interview and taking the ranking and the rating that was given to you. Because when they do a mock interview, we give your interviewers a sheet where they score you based on your background, your outfit, how you spoke, were you articulate, how you answered the soft skilled questions, how you answered the technical questions, and their overall view of you in that particular interview. And then what we also like to monitor, because we've seen that this is a very contributing thing, that beyond We Think Code and the things that you do in the curriculum and the things that you do in placements, are you an active participant within the tech industry that you're in? So are you going above and beyond your time at We Think Code? So we know a lot of students do participate in hackathons. So we're going to start having a view of you guys informing us that, hey, I'm participating in a hackathon, you let us know, and we'll check that. Are you attending those tech events? If you did, you're letting us know. Are you posting them on your LinkedIn pages? And lastly, portfolios. Companies want to know that you can code and that you can develop and you can build something. We Think Code is your foundation, it's your base, and it's building your skill. But you now also need to demonstrate your application of that skill. So we're also going to monitor, are you guys building your own portfolios on GitHub? Are you making projects? Are you contributing to those projects, or are you just pushing like once every 6 months and then saying that, yeah, I have something? Are you actively participating? Are you building website portfolios? Because that's something that a lot of our students are actually doing. They're building website portfolios where they put a lot of information about themselves there. And we will ask you for those links, we will monitor them, and we will check them. But what we want now is for you guys to be, as I said, a whole rounded individual when you leave within code, that we make sure that you guys understand that beyond the education that you're receiving, you want to be software developers, you want to go into the tech industry. So are you doing the things that are necessary for you to thrive in the tech world? I need you guys to understand that. And if it is that you start building your portfolios now, we'll start working with Joannis, with the technical team, with Joannis, your engagement officer, and the performance team, to see how we can incorporate your portfolios and how we as a whole within code can make sure that you guys are the best software development candidates for the types of roles and industries that you're going into. And then I think I have one more slide and then I'm done. Oh, sorry. I thought I had one more. So this is just the overview of the placement process. So a company will come forward and they will inform us about themselves, what they're looking for, the type of talent that they're looking for. Then what we'll do is we'll start shortlisting you based on that company's preference. So again, is it Cape Town students? Is it Joburg students? If in Cape Town or Joburg, are they looking for students from a particular elective? Because that's something that does come up. And then we will share the available candidates with them. Then the partner will then shortlist and inform us of who it is that they'd like to interview. Then we will inform you of your interview. And then should you be successful through your interview, because your interview phase can go through either you have an interview, then you might get a technical assessment, then you might get a second round interview. It all depends on the company that you are interviewing for. Then after that, should you be successful, you will then begin your 4 to 6 month work or internship placement. Again, the duration of your internship is wholeheartedly dependent on the organization that you're going to. And then, as mentioned, we will do the check-ins with the partners. We will do the check-ins with the students just to see how you guys are doing on internship and for them to give us a view of how you are. And then from there, should you then be successful, you will get your full-time employment offer and begin your full-time employment. But one thing that's very important is that, guys, we don't leave you alone. We're always with you and we're always there to guide you. You can always reach out to us. You can email Fumotu, you can email myself, you email the placements account, you can send us a message on Matrix. We want you to know that we are here for you this entire time. Our literal job is to make sure that you are the best possible candidate for the jobs that we're trying to put you forward for. So we're not your worst enemies. We are probably the two people who are rooting for you the most in this organization, because when you do great, we feel great and we feel like we're doing something right. So that's all. And then I think the last slide is just our partners that have hired from within code before, or the types of industries that you guys could go into. So you guys could go into the telecoms, the telecommunications companies like Vodacom and MTN that are very recent and frequent hirers at Within Code, BCX as well. We have a few financial institutions that do hire from us. So your ABSAs, your FNBs, your Mukuru are generally ones that do come forward a lot. You have the foundations that sponsor and partner with us to make sure that you guys can be part of the program. We have a lot of disruptors that come forward to us looking for students and alumni to come and work with their organizations. One notable one is Yoko, who does look for candidates from us. But a big part that we do service are your financial services, your telecommunications companies, as well as your tech consultancies. So I think a lot of you have heard of BBD. BBD is one of our founding partners, and they do hire every single year from every cohort, and they're our biggest hire as well. So they always look for technical people, and you'll see that while you are on campus, BBD will most likely come forward, with you guys, engage with you, for partner days, for any tech conversations. But a lot of companies do come forward to also do tech talks with you guys. You have your GK Software as well as QLink, who are often hirers from Within Code. So this is just a view of the types of organizations you could end up working for, or you could go out and seek employment with. So I hope this is just a little bit inspirational for you guys. I hope my chat or my conversation with you was good. I can't wait to engage with you guys in June and make sure that Humut and I can best effectively prepare you guys for your placements. And thank you all.
Okay, there's two questions from YouTube. One says, has anyone ever got placed without doing interviews?
Um, so it no majority of the time partners will always have a view of your student profile. So it could be possible, dependent on whether or not a company has spoken to us before or whether or not, but generally you always go through an interview to get a placement.
Fantastic. Second question says, are we required to disclose to Within Code that we are engaging with other companies for possible employment for when we finish?
We ask that, yes. So what we do, like, as you know, we track your placements. So it could be a placement you received yourself, as I mentioned, or a placement that we assisted you with finding. What we appreciate is transparency on both ends. So any questions that you have for us, we're always more than willing to answer. And if you do find your own placement, we ask that you guys do inform us. It's important that we know, because some of the companies that are sponsoring do hire, and I believe not all, some, but you would know. And more often than not, you would be more likely to go to a company that might have sponsored you and they are looking for interns, and you are a candidate that they are looking to hire. So we always ask that you're transparent so that we're able to unblur those lines for the candidates, to make sure that we're keeping the partners happy, we're keeping our students' best interests at bay or with us. So transparency. If you're at the point where you are getting an employment offer, please do inform us. And we always ask that you guys do share a copies of your offer letter or letter what employment offer, sorry, letter of employment or your offer letter that you received from your internships. Because again, we need to report on where you guys are at Rethink Code. And just to put it into a little bit of sense, if you guys don't inform us, let's say now you are in placement season and maybe we're in January of 2026. And now I think that I need to be placing 200 or 400 students, when in actual fact, there are 30 students in the pool who've already found their own internship opportunities. And then the problem becomes that we're telling the partners that, hey, these 400 are available, and now they happen to shortlist the ones who didn't inform us or weren't transparent with us that they found a employment opportunity. Now that means we need to go back to the partner and say that, hi, unfortunately, candidates Y to Z are unavailable. And then it just puts a lot of strain on us, because it's better to just know who is available at that time. So if you have received a placement opportunity or you're in the process of receiving one, please just be transparent with us and inform us, so that we know that maybe we aren't actively trying to search for an employment opportunity for you because you've already received an offer, and for us to just inform you whether that conflicts with perhaps an existing offer that may come forward from within Rethink Code.
Okay, fantastic. There's one more question from Jobek. Okay. The question is, how long does the placement season last?
So from the day we start with you guys, so we start, technically we say placement season is when we start working with you guys. So that's around June, but effectively you start to become eligible for interviews around November of the year, because we know we've done enough workshops with you guys, and you are prepared enough to start going forward, and partners are ready to come forward and start looking at your profiles. Um, and once you finish Within Code, we're still with you, no matter what. So when, let's say it's February of the year, you've completed Within Code, we will always be actively putting your profiles forward, because again, partners or people who come forward to hire candidates will always have a varying spec. Some want people with a little bit more experience, so then we'd go back into older cohorts where maybe you dropped off of an internship and now you're still in the placements pool. For those of you, when you guys go into placement season, you guys are our focus at that time. So any job offers that come forward, majority of them will come for you as the new incoming cohort during placement season. But we always work with you. We are still working with students from 3, 4 cohorts back. So we never leave you alone. We're always with you, and we're always sharing opportunities with you as we see them, as they are posted, as we receive them. So placement season doesn't technically end with you guys. It just begins when we start working with you.
Fantastic. I think let's take one more question so that we can move on to the next item for the day. Yes. Okay. The question is, if your sponsor wants to hire you, but you get an opportunity with another company, are you obligated to stay with the sponsor?
Yes. So your obligation, as we said, contractually, you're obligated to go to your sponsor company should they make an offer for you to be, or for an internship offer with them.
Fantastic. Please give us your email address so that if there's any other queries.
You guys can email placements at wethinkcode.co.za. So that's the way we go through our queries.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mpo.
Thank you.
Round of Thank you, Rich and team. All right.
Always my pleasure.
All right. We can have a bathroom break for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, we are back now. Hello. Hello. All right. Let's proceed with the agenda for the day. Next up, we will be speaking to Chris, who will be telling us more about partnerships. Chris?
Sorry. Morning, everyone. I think thanks to Paul for covering all the placement side of things. So just to, I'm sure all of you have seen me walking around campus with a number of different people who are mostly either our partners or people looking to partner with us. So first and foremost, I think thank you very much for the behavior that you have been displaying on campus, especially in regards to when we have had partners being open, being friendly, and just putting your best foot forward. It's really great for our partners to get a sense of the type of work we are doing within the within a learning context, seeing you at your desks, engaging with everybody. And I think just overall your friendliness and the way you are showing up. So thank you for that. I really hope this does continue. A lot of the time times when our partners come through to campus, it's when we sell them the most and we get them on board to partner with us to firstly fund your education, as well as then to look at placing you as students within their organizations. So what I do want to do is I just want to outline the difference between our private partnerships and our public sector partnerships. As you'll see, a lot of the time, what I do is I sit on the private side of things. So essentially what this private side of things entails is chatting to corporates. So be it from your big corporates like your MTN, your FNBs, your APSAs, to your tech consultancy houses like your BBD, your Structurate, your QLinks, and then as well as mining industry, specifically modular mining. I'm not going to run through all of our partnerships, but just I hope this gives you a clear sense of what our, please, sorry, Jay, next slide.
It's empty, Chris.
Oh, okay, it's fine. I don't think I updated it. It's my bad. Sorry. Apologies for
Would you
not
like to share?
no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's quite simple. And then you get the public sector side of things. So public sector side of things, Rue heads that up. She is the director of public partnerships. So what her main focus is targeting the public sector in order for us to expand our reach into TVET campuses. So you'll see we have TVET campuses with CJC as well as South Cape. And that sits on the public sector side of things, whereas individuals who are on the Joburg and the Cape Town campuses sit on the private side of things. Now, the public sector side of things, it's not just for TVET campuses. How we're trying to structure it is for private as well as public to overlap, in the sense that our funding comes from multiple sources, so that you firstly get your tuition paid in order for you to come onto campus, and then also to enable us to place within the public sector as well. So I think that covers a lot of the private versus the public side of things. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to break for a minute or two in case you have questions about these differentiations before I move on to my next slide, which, as you can see, I don't have, which I do apologize. I'll explain to you now why I didn't put it together. Jay, if there are any questions, I'll give it until, call it the next 2 minutes, so 2 minutes to 11, and then I'll move on.
Are there any questions for Chris? Okay. There doesn't seem to be any at the moment.
Okay.
I'll check.
Okay, cool. So moving on to what should have been my next slide. I apologize for not creating a slide. It's just I was dealing with a very sensitive situation that arose from one of our partners being Old Mutual. What has been transpiring is behaviors of what is expected of you during internship is not happening. Now, this behavior is so important for not only you as students, but also future cohorts as well. So Old Mutual, we originally had a partnership with them. Unfortunately, we lost it because students weren't performing. Their behavior was absolutely atrocious in terms of how they were communicating with the partners, not showing up, as well as dressing not in accordance to what is expected of them. This is not the first instance where we have had this. We've lost a number of partners because of students not behaving. Now, I just want you to let that sink in because of the damage to our reputation this creates, to the damage that this causes to the overall industry, as well as our brand as We Think Code. Now, like Mpho had said, you are ambassadors for We Think Code as a whole. If you're not putting your right foot forward, you take this as a joke, or you just don't see the value in going onto an internship. Well, guys, that sets you back, sets your fellow students back, as well as future cohorts going forward. There is only so much myself, Mpho, and the greater commercials team can do in order to secure these partnerships. Since I've been here, we have lost a number of partnerships. I'm going to continuously reiterate this because I don't think it sinks in enough with you. So we've lost a number of very key partnerships where we put individuals forward for interviews. They then come back to us and then they say to me, hey, listen, Chris, really like you as a person, really like your mission, what you're trying to do. However, your students are not showing up for the interviews. When they're interviewing, they could care less about the answers that they're giving, or they're asking us questions that have absolutely no relation to what it is we expect to see from them during these interviews. Now, taking a step back in terms of this, what we are expecting of you, slide 62.
Sorry, Chris, just a second.
Cool. So what we are expecting of you is professionalism. So this doesn't just entail showing up in a suit and a tie or looking all fancy. Guys, professionalism relates to your actions. So am I arriving on time, firstly? Am I communicating with who I need to communicate? And do I understand what the communication channels are? Then this also relates to how you are communicating. So I'm just going to use Nswaki as an example because I see her video is on and she likes to laugh at my jokes. But I go up to Nswaki and I'm like, hey, Nswaki, what's up? Come, let's go do this. Come, let's go grab a chow. Come, throwing out all this like slang language to them or not actually speaking to them properly. So Nswaki is now going to look at me. She's going to say, Chris, you're an intern. I'm not friends with you. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to upskill you. I'm here to mentor you. If this is how you're speaking to me, I'm not going to spend time with you because you're wasting my time going forward. I've sat in interviews where I've interviewed interns and I've been absolutely shocked as to firstly, how you dress, secondly, how you speak to me, and the types of questions that you ask me, like, oh, great, how much are we earning? What is going to be expected of me in terms of how to get a salary increase, or how long is my contract going to be? Oh, is it only 4 months? Why is it 4 months and not 12 months? This person's doing this, this person's doing that. Guys, some of our partners do things in very different ways. If you are going for interviews or you're not applying for those partners to take you on, there's nothing that we can do about, and you've shot yourself in the foot. You are not obtaining the best opportunity to get these internships going forward. You are also putting us in a very bad position where we can lose that partner who put a lot of funding into us So ultimately, you are losing your stipends, you are losing your tuition. A prime example of this is all of you have seen delays in payments going forward with a number of our partners. And the reason being is previous cohorts or individuals being placed onto partnerships or internships. And what this then does is it puts me, the commercial team, with Setu, the CCO, Nyari, the CEO, where we are having to go and sit and have continuous conversations in order to repair these specific partnerships. Now, guys, some of these partnerships, it's taken us months to build over, but it's taken a couple of weeks to destroy. Then it takes us even longer to go and repair the damage that it has created. So with this, I really hope you're getting a sense as to why we drill into you so much about the behaviors that are expected of you when going into internships, the behaviors that are expected of you when coming to campus. It all spills over into one another. Again, if you're not doing what is expected of you, you're not going to be put forward into internships. You're not going to pass this program. And secondly, your funding is going to be very limited. Now, it's not your fault. It's prior cohorts' fault that have cost us a lot in this space. We are in a very fortunate position where we've got very great staff members who have been able to repair these relationships, who have been able to go out, seek new funders, and seek new internship opportunities for you. So as much as it is about you showing up, yes, a lot of it does fall onto us, where we need to go out and continuously find the funding, continuously find these internship opportunities. But at the same time, if you're not playing ball, all of that effort gets absolutely destroyed faster than it can be repaired going forward. Yeah, I think that covers mostly the action impacts, the repercussions, and the importance of it. I don't want to hop on too much of this. I'm tired of speaking. I'm tired of trying to drill this into you. If you're not showing up, end of the day, placements team isn't going to look at you. Performance team isn't going to assist you. And secondly, I'm not going to go out and get funding for you either, because I'm wasting my time where I can then go out and seek opportunities for individuals who do earn this. Yeah, placements have touched on it in terms of your performance. I think Kelly has touched on it in terms of your behavior. Guys, we take a zero stance. We have been quite lenient in the past where we're trying to get you through the program, but it's reaching a point where we're pushing out talent and we're pushing out individuals who don't deserve to go on to work placements, who don't deserve to be funded. So please don't take this lightly. Don't take these things as a joke going forward. It's really not a joke. And like I said, I'm tired of having to get phone calls at 6:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, where I sit on a phone call with a partner who's chewing me out for over an hour just because of you not being able to do what is expected of you. I don't think it's a very big ask. I do think it is a very important thing to do. Yeah, I'm really tired of hearing my own voice. I've been listening to it since this morning. Yes, yeah, I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Chris. I just find it kind of ironic that you're talking about behavior issues and people are sleeping here. But it's fine. I think then we can move on to our Sunswaki. I had planned that we're gonna have a 10-minute break, but we just came back from one. So can we just move on? Fantastic. All right. Sunswaki, please take it away.
Thank you. Can everyone who's sleeping just please stand up and shake yourselves, because I don't want to waste my time talking to people that are sleeping.
Can I walk around people?
Cool.
Yeah, you can take it away.
Okay, perfect. I'm also not going to waste everyone's time. I'm just going to get straight into it. So as you see on the screen, my name is Nswaki. I am marketing manager here at Within Code. So that means I handle everything that's brand related, any PR management, social media marketing and management, events. And then I also just assist the greater commercials team with all the campaign work, just to get our brand out there and get noticed by different stakeholders so that essentially they come in and sponsor all the work that we do with you guys. And then I think in terms of the Within Code brand, one way or another, you found out about Within Code, whether it's through word of mouth, whether it's through social media. Listen, there are different avenues. And essentially we are all over social media, and we try keep the brand and our logo intact so that you can interact with it, so that partners can interact with it, and that we can keep the momentum going. We don't want to stop with you as the cohort. There's millions of other youth within South Africa and the rest of Africa that we want to help out so they can get the tech skills that they need to flourish in their careers. So I'm just going to take you through what we as a brand stand for. And then I'm also going to take you through some rules of engagement, just to press on some of the stuff that important Chris also mentioned as well. We can go to the next slide. Great. So I think let's just take a step back. I think Gile did mention what our purpose and mission is, but I just want to also again drill this in. So Within Code's purpose is to shift Africa from consumption to the creation of technology by enabling tech talent from previously untapped sources with the skills to unlock their potential. Our mission is to close the skills gap in the digital sector and prepare the youth to participate in the economy. The vision is a more diverse and more inclusive tech industry. Now, why is this important? This is important because it always gives us a foundation of who we are and what we are working towards. And so the thing is, we need to be able to put our brand always in a positive light so that the right eyes can see what we are working towards, right? How you find out about the brand, how the partner finds out about the brand is because we're always trying to show all the work that we do in a positive light, right? And so we need to be able to work together to make the brand a successful brand. And so I think I want us to just always remember that it's not just you. We can go to the next slide. That you're not the only person within the community. We have different stakeholders, we have different partners, we have sponsoring partners, we have hiring partners, the students that are sitting next to you right now, the staff that are also working to ensure that your time on campus is a fulfilled time on campus. So I don't want us to be selfish as students, as the staff, as everyone. We need to be able to always work together to ensure that the chain reaction that is happening is pulling us forward and not backwards. So as Chris said, if your behavior on campus is one that can be commended, then it makes the sponsoring partner a little bit lenient to say, okay, let me actually think this through. Why are we sponsoring? And how are these students going to be part of this whole thing? So I just want us to always remember that you're not alone, even in a sense where you feel like, I don't think I'm doing this right. I don't know if my work is on par. You have always someone to speak to, but we always need to respect the relationships that are happening. We need to respect the relationships that we have with our sponsoring and hiring partners. You need to respect the relationship that Chris has with these partners. And let's not think that just because this person is walking around on campus that we can disrespect them and they're my friend. That's not how it works. That's not how people sign millions of rands of checks to fund us, and we disrespect them and disrespect their brand as well. Because if you disrespect what's going on internally, again, you're literally just saying a big F you, excuse my language, to the partners and the entire community at large. So just always remember that we're all in this together. If we aren't working towards building a solid brand, then we won't have a cohort 2025. We won't have a cohort of 2026. You won't be able to get a job, right? It's a chain reaction, and everything that you do on campus and all the work that we do behind the scenes is to make sure that you're successful and then the brand is successful. So just always keep that in mind throughout your time here at We Think Code. We can go to the next slide. So I just want us to consider a few things while we're here. We Think Code is an amazing platform to be working on. It's an amazing community to be part of. You are going to be part of hackathons, events, you're going to be tech mentors, you're going to be part of the content lab. You're going to be doing a lot of things. Some of the things do involve being side by side with a partner and events and so forth. Please take this time and use it to the best of your advantage to catapult your career, right? You are allowed to document your thoughts and everything that happens on campus, obviously within the right limitations. But you have the freedom to do that. I remember I received an email of someone asking, am I allowed to record on campus or something? You're more than welcome to do that. I see the TikToks, I see the YouTubes. A lot of our students have YouTube channels. Some of you is how you got here because you saw a YouTube video of someone explaining what We Think Code is and how they got in. So we want to keep that trend going, but we obviously have to do it within the confines of us respecting the brand and also respecting our partners as well, right? So again, let's be respectful of the brand and our fellow colleagues as well. As Mpo mentioned as well, you need to be working on building your portfolios as well. So when you do, please refrain from using the brand or our logo without permission and the logos of our partners. Some of you guys think maybe it's nice to just, I remember I think there was one student who used the Momentum logo for a personal project. Partners also have a very strict brand guideline, so we don't want to step on the toes of their marketing team. So should you want to use anything like that, just reach out to me so we can get permission. But it also gives you a chance to be creative, right? As Mpo mentioned, the tech industry is a very big industry, right? You could end up being a UX designer. You could end up being a tester. You could end up doing things that are not necessarily coding. And so when you work on your personal projects, try be creative in the sense that you can come up with your own brands, come up with your own logos. If you want me to have a look at it, I'm more than happy to do it. But yeah, I think let's just try refrain from using partner logos and We Think Code logos without permission first, especially if it's something you're going to share on your social media, right? And then the next thing is all your grievances should be followed as per the code of conduct internally. Guys, please, let's not get in a battlefield where you are trying to tarnish the brand online, or you are tagging partners on your grievances because you didn't get your stipend on time. If we go through and we find out that you're doing this, I'm not even joking, I will hunt you down myself, because you are messing up all the hard work that people are doing to ensure that you and the other 489 students are getting the sponsorship, are getting the work and the time to actually be part of this program. So please ensure if you have any grievances, I know it won't be a smooth ride, but if you do have grievances, ensure that you follow the processes internally. If I catch you on social and you are tagging and you are Twitter fingers, I'm going to fight you myself because I love this brand. That's why I work for it. And I want people to also see why we are doing the work that we're doing, right? So follow the internal processes, speak to Kile, speak to Mpo, whoever you feel comfortable speaking to, explain your situation, but do not share your grievances online, please. And also, as I said earlier, you're going to be part of a lot of things. You're going to be doing hackathons. You're going to be at events. Some of you are going to volunteer to be part of the recruitment team, and you're going to go out and do all of these open days, right? Please do not tag partners on unnecessary things and post them. If you're part of an event or a hackathon and BBD is one of the sponsors, that's totally fine. You can totally do that. That is, they also want that kind of share. But now if you are tagging BBD on something that is totally unrelated to them, they're going to see it. And once their marketing team sees it and then it's shared with the rest of the people at BBD, you won't have a great look and neither will we. And so now it's another thing that, hey, your students are out here doing mess on Twitter. And now we are the ones that have to clean it up, right? So let's just make sure that we follow the right procedures. If you are unsure of anything, ask, especially when it comes to other things that you are doing on campus or externally as well. And then I also wanted to mention, we do have Content Club, which is a group of amazing peeps that are helping me out with content on campus. In Joburg, there's Junior and Uratile. I'm sure you've seen them running around. In Cape Town, we have Gonda and Itumeleng, who are also doing the same thing. If you at any time or at an event or you want to use the camera or you want to use them to be part of the journey, you're welcome to do that as well, right? And yeah, you're welcome to use them. But again, those things, I just need to have a look and say, okay, cool, we can definitely do that, right? So don't be shy. Document your time on camera. You're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great year filled with amazing things and events and hackathons and all these cool things. So yeah, just enjoy your time, but also just behave. We could go to the next slide. Right. As I said, any negative online engagements will be taken very seriously. Disciplinary action will be followed if you are suspected of putting our brand or that of our partners in disrepute. We are not in the system of negotiating with terrorists. If you are found guilty of putting our brand or that of our partner in disrepute, guys, there'll be serious actions. I'm not even joking this year. As Chris said, I think in the past, there has been a little bit of leniency where we've let this go. But the people are working too hard for one person to ruin it all, right? And you need to remember that this jeopardizes either your hiring opportunities or any sponsorship that comes through. You might not think you're affected because at the moment you're caught in it and you are just spewing hate online. But the person sitting next to you might not have a sponsor. And then what needs to happen, right? So please be cognizant of the stuff you put online, especially if it has to do with our brand. But again, we all have, you know, the right to post whatever we want. And I'm not your social media police officer. I'm not going to go around looking at your profiles on Twitter or Instagram. But Anything that has to do with brand mentions, I definitely see it. And I'm going to make sure that we always make sure that we keep Within Code in a bright light, right? And also remember, the internet never forgets. It might not be evident to you now, but one day you're going to go out, someone's going to sit in an interview and say, oh, I see you used to go at Within Code. Hey, you had a lot of bad things to say about them. How are you going to answer that 5 years down the road, right? As Mpo mentioned, there are other workshops that you're going to be involved in, and one of them is LinkedIn and brand building. And that's going to kind of help you build your online profile so that you ensure that it has a lot to do with your career and not other things, especially when it comes to LinkedIn. So we'll have those sessions with you. We'll talk you through how your profile is supposed to look so that when a hiring partner looks at your LinkedIn profile, which all of them do, by the way, if you don't have your right qualifications or experiences on your LinkedIn profile, then it's like, oh, but what's the point of reference? How am I supposed to hire this person if I don't know what skills they have? How am I supposed to hire them if I don't know what kind of person they are? So we'll go through those sessions with you guys, and just to ensure that you are also ready online professionally as you are in terms of actually having the interviews. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I have a very cool video to show you after this, with which also just goes back to just saying we all have different backgrounds, but yeah, let's just make sure the road that we're building forward is to benefit us. Press play. Is there volume? I don't
Yes.
think it's Oh, I don't know if Cape Town heard, but if they didn't, please just share the video with them. It's a very cool Nike video. And it speaks to
Okay.
brand and how
Okay.
you should, yeah. But yeah, I think Chris has just some final words before we end off. Chris?
Yes, thank you, Nswaki. Sorry, I completely forgot to mention this. With our partners, I know I did say this in our previous induction session, but with our partners, although you can tag them on social media, like Nswaki said, please ensure that you do follow those guidelines. However, when it comes to our partners, if you haven't been placed there with them, if you have been put onto an internship, a learnership with them, or if you have no relationship with them, you do not have any right to reach out to them directly. And the reason why I say this is you do not have all the context as to what has been discussed with our partners, as to what has been agreed to with our partners. A lot of the time, you might think you do, but I can promise you this, the relationships that we hold with them are a lot more complex than what you think they are. We have had discussions with them about multiple things, and by you going and speaking to them or sending them random things, it creates a level of mistrust between We Think Code staff and then those partners. Again, we have had students who have done that, and it has absolutely destroyed our reputation and the relationship with the partners. What that then means, we lose their funding, we lose opportunities for internship placements. Our partners are within every right to say and come to me, hey, listen, Chris, this is what's happened. Because of this, we want you to pay back all the funding, which includes the tuition, which includes the stipends. What that then ultimately means, we come to you, we say to you, hey, listen, we don't have money for stipends. We have to retract these stipends from you. You then get upset with me, or because of one individual or multiple individuals who thought they had the right to then go out and speak to our partners without our knowledge. If you do have an issue, if you want to raise any concerns, if you are certain about something, please, like Ntwaki said, reach out to Ntwaki, reach out to Kele, reach out to whoever it is that you feel you are comfortable with in We Think Code staff. We can then go and we can address the issue in the best possible way that we can. We know how to address issues. We know how to navigate the landscape of our partners. Again, you do not know, you do not have the relationship with these partners, so you do not have full context. And one slip up can really lead to us losing our partnerships and you ultimately shooting yourself in the foot. I know what we have been saying seems very harsh. I know what we are saying you might be taken aback by. You might have fright in your eyes. You might have big eyes listening to all of this. But we cannot reiterate with you how important this is for us to continue with We Think Code and for us to continue funding your tuition, funding your stipends going forward as well. I think that's the last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to hand it back over to everybody else.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Ntwaki. At the moment, what I would like for us to do, I will be handing out some papers, and I think they will be handed out in Cape Town as well. The instructions for those papers will come shortly. In the meantime, if you have a pen, please get it out. And we are just asking for you to please remain seated and as silent as we can be for the next 5 minutes while we prepare everything else that we have to do to finish up induction. Okay. Yes, please. Let's. Yes. Yeah. He wants to.
Vedi che fa un soggetto a cavolo questo. You got to hear from the general for the guests. Help me or just right. They want to expo what I'm say. You guys can stand up and stretch. We just don't want you to leave the room because then it'll take long to come back. But when you are, you can stand up, you can stretch, you can
Only concessions. I'm saying we don't need the projector. Yeah. So far, very
Was a quick maybe. Like put the headphone
Keeps on the same low volume on our side. I don't know when that was. So there's no timestamp on the yesterday.
So that will come now.
Cape Town, can you hear me? One.
I'm not sure if they're not responding, but I can hear from my side. Nicola, can you hear?
Circles? Not. Yeah, I think we can. Perfect. Let's get settled. I'd like to introduce someone you all know. But she's the lady of the house.
Like church.
You don't know the lady of the house. Okay. Everyone, let me introduce someone.
Microphone doesn't play out. Hello, hello, hello. To the side. No? You can hear me at the back? No. Hello. Hello. Let me get to all of them. Yeah, correct. Fantastic. Okay, good morning. Do I need a mic? Yeah, can you? If you're in the front row, don't talk. It's not what I was getting. Do I need a microphone? It's fine. I need to finish because this is gonna irritate me. Right. Good morning. I am happy to follow Swaki because I think she made a few things clear. Just doing housekeeping for James. I'm everyone has a pen. And everyone has a pen to write on a little Can you show the pen? Show me the pen. Okay, can someone watch the heads-up chat for me with this? Oh, I don't want that site for your attention. I'm doing all the time. Is it in particular you want me to talk about? Because I was talking about how much time do I have? Like 5-10 minutes. 5-10. Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's start from where Swaki left off. Let's have a Q&A. Who knows how we think of this funded? Why you don't pay school fees? Can someone explain how it works with sponsors? How does it work with the sponsors? Everyone's whispering sponsors. How does it work with sponsors? Somebody, anybody here.
So my understanding is private and public sponsors.
Yeah.
Which will provide either contribution and site contribution with certain things.
Yeah.
Based on certain requirements that you want to organize.
Sponsor. So we have public sector partners, that is essentially government, private sector partners, that is either companies like MTN, FNB, PPT, or private foundations like the Michael Sandel Foundation, JP Morgan Chase Foundation, etc. Right? And they give different kinds of sponsorship depending on what outcomes they want. What kind of different outcomes do our different sponsors want? Look to the bright one. What the sponsors want? Why do they give us their money? They pay their money. They fly private jets. Why are they paying for you to go?
Employees.
They want employees. They want specialized training. They're looking for interns. So what about the foundations? The American Citadel Foundation is not hiring. So all of that is true of our private partners. Why does Michael Citadel Foundation give you money? Why doesn't Michael Dell buy another jet? Yes, Madam Sabrina. Investing in upskilling the youth. Investing in upskilling the youth. Okay, that is true. What else? Yeah.
Ensuring that future generations will be talking with you into new opportunities.
Ensuring that future generations have the skills to build the economy by entering the industry and making South Africa more prosperous. That's true. What else? Sorry? Unemployment rate come down. That's true. What else? Tax rate. They're looking for tax rates. Order. So now we know who has money. We know why they're giving us, why they're giving their money away. Why do they give it to Weaving Code? There are a lot of people who are saying words, people are saying they're training developers. So Weaving Code is competing with those people for the money. Why do they give it to us?
Weaving Code has managed to establish a relationship trust.
Weaving Code has managed to establish a relationship of trust. That is true. How did we do that?
I don't know.
How did you see people that have provided love? That is true. How else? Yeah.
We were trained on the data performance.
By showing the performance data, that is also true. How else? What was the data we showed them? Look around them. What do you see? We can run a spreadsheet. Yeah. High numbers of like most of you Georgia was too much. When China was around what else are the questions? Yeah, diversity. Well, women is one category for trans, for straight, for sure. We've got people from Limpopo, people from the Cape, people from Cape, people from the West Group. Diversity means good diversity. What else? Growing up. You take from the 100, then up to about 500 a year. What else? We think of the other side that happens around the world. So let's sorry, Kate, I'll visit you. And we'll have the same chat properly. I'm sorry. But so essentially we now know how we think of gets money. Like who gives us the money? You know why they give us the money. So essentially everything you've described, track records, graduation rates, diversity, etc. That's our brand. When we say we think code to a person who has money so that your tuition can be free, they think of a place where people with quality skills from diverse backgrounds, races, whatever, come together, most of them graduate, and they can be useful in society. Yeah? Okay, so then you get annoyed with Nyari and you go on Twitter. What happened? You destroy the relationship. You destroy them. Who has Google? Okay, tell me. Wait, tell me more about it. Tell me more about it. I used to be an accountant. I'm recovered. Tell me more about me. Straight to New York for 5 years. Tell me more about me. So when you're mad, Twitter and you talk about business and like that money. Let's talk economically. What do you think is the damage to me when you do that? What are my safety nets like? I have savings, guys. I own 2 homes. I don't have car payment. I own my car. So your feelings, maybe the other people that are on Twitter, that look at your tweets, will never hire me. But then if you look at other tweets about me that are not your angry tweets, thousands of people have seen them. What happens to meeting code when you tweet about me? And a partner that wants to give us money is like, oh, maybe this meeting code thing is not being sure. What happened? One at a time, let's talk about it, yeah? It tarnishes the reputation. Tarnishes the bank reputation. The funding stops. The funding stops. What happens when the funding stops? Also with the students' cost of going so classes that's out there. Yeah. In how this institution doing. You lose interest in the institution. Then what happens? If you close tomorrow, who has a plan of where they will go? Tomorrow. Check out. Turned in the pattern is going to be like that, yeah. But they would call them outliers. Outlier has a plan. The majority of clients in the middle. We talked about reputation. You're here because someone who was here before you were here did the right thing and made it possible for you to be here. So let's talk about whose responsibility it is when they are in particular or meeting code in general is whose problem is it? Whose problem is this? It's your problem. Who should shut it down? I should shut it down. Because I'll just drink wine. But my feelings will be hurt. I'll drink wine and then I'll move on. In fact, at medical aid, I'll pay my shrink. Maybe first was an such a lot more serious. But I hope you don't take what I'm saying as arrogance. You decided to check. Around what happens, you don't show up at campus and you bring funders here and the campus is empty. But what happens when someone pays for you to graduate and graduation is plunged because you don't attend and you don't do your homework? I will be heartbroken if you don't shut down. Heartbroken. But I've been working for over 20 years and I've made a fair number of good choices. And that is built safety nets that a lot of people don't have. So my plea, is you came here for a reason. Be busy with the right things at the right time. Yeah? Be busy with the right things at the right time. What are you supposed to be busy with now? Studying. What else? Projects. What else? Network. What else? Sorry? Preparing for hackathons. What else? That's what you're supposed to be busy with. Why is it important to be busy with those things? Not all at once. Yeah.
Making sure that you put out this, or make sure that they come out and
So they come out on top. In about 2017, 2018, the financial crash. So I didn't grow up with a lot. I went to Deloitte in Zimbabwe. At the time, Deloitte paid for my education. If Deloitte hadn't paid for my education, my grandmother was a maid. My mother was pregnant at 17 with my brother. She had me by 21. It wasn't an easy road. But if I compare what my life was then to what my life is now, part of it is I'm a clever girl, part of it I worked hard, but part of it is I got lucky. And what I view as luck is that there are those opportunities you didn't earn necessarily, and somehow you learn that the money. And then if you are ready, you take them, yeah? And so you've got to be ready to be lucky. Because a lot of opportunities will show up, and some within students will graduate, some won't. For those that graduate, some will get employed, some won't. Of those that get employed, some will have thriving careers, some won't. A lot of it you don't control. You don't control the economy, you don't control the rand exchange rate, you don't control oil, Ukraine or Gaza or Syria. Then suddenly your fuel price is a certain way because it's something the world that you don't control, right? So you don't control a lot. But in your life, there are a few things that you control. What you do with those few things is the difference between luck and misfortune. Because you can still do all of it right and bad things happen to good people. But don't self-sabotage. Don't prioritize your irritation with Nyari over your own future or the future of the person next to you.
yes,
What he was saying about the internet never forgets. Literally, I don't hire anyone that I don't Google that. And if I see you online, I'm like, I don't want to deal with your drama. So I don't hire you. You might brilliant, your repo might be full of great projects, but if I see drama online, I'm like, sure. I don't want to be constable in really policing this one. Be busy with the right things at the right time so that you're ready to be lucky. The real not rugby. Yours is Yeah. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. And yes, part of it is because just the COVID is phenomenal. Part of it is that moment the opposition player just keep discipline at that moment you got a shot and you go in. But if you're panicked at the corner in the 79 minutes, then when that person fumbles, so you don't control everything on the field for 80 minutes, but you control your preparation, you control the mental state. And if you're prepared and you're headed to the right place, when someone else fumbles, South Africa gets to celebrate. So that's all I came to deliver to you today. Is we don't recruit children, we recruit adults. Make choices. Make good choices. Make good choices. Make good choices. Because if you make good choices, then you create opportunities for yourselves and each other. And one thing you all have to understand is you're in this thing together. You're in it together. You're individuals, but you're in it together. And so if a cluster of you is causing trouble, there are partners that will never hire from me people because someone went there and just someone signed the contract and just didn't show up on Monday. Just get a phone call and earful, they don't want to hire again. Suddenly everyone in this room is painted with that brush. And that's not fair. I think when you first started, I told you the odds are against you. Where does the world believe smart people to hire for coding come from? Generally. Is that true? Yeah, but perception and reality sometimes. So the odds are against you. How do you change? It's not a rhetorical question. How do you change the odds? How do you change the odds? Yep.
Doing things to better your
Better your odds. How do we better our odds? The time and the effort. Change the story and the narrative is.
Making sure you're understanding the role.
Making sure you're better than the people that they think are better than you. The curriculum you guys are working on is built by some of the best engineers in the world. These are people who, when they are hired as clients, they build, if they're billing in rand, something in the region of 4,000 rands an hour. Your stipend in an hour. And I just want you know, when I came to South Africa, Microsoft had a speaking program. You know why we weren't on the list? Hazard the guess. Why weren't we on the list of the places that Scott Hanselman from Microsoft should go? We're not a university. Do you know why he was here? Because I said, please. Say please, and you act the fool, he won't come back. So I just want you to understand this idea that in a peer learning environment, quality of your learning is your peers. You're working to build a brand that defies the odds in terms of where skills comes from. That means it's more important for you to behave well than someone from Stellenbosch. If someone from Stellenbosch acts silly, it's like John from Stellenbosch is silly. If someone from We Think Code acts silly, We Think Code students, I'm not so sure. It'll change in time, but it hasn't changed yet. It's not fair, but it's reality. So I just came here to let you know that this is actually a great opportunity. If I do say so myself. It's a really good opportunity for you to learn. Some of the smartest people are in this room. Some of the people that will make an impact in the world are in this room. You get to hang out with them. You get in on the ground floor. If you came and your agenda was to get stipend, and when stipend isn't there, when you think we're going to be begging you this way or the other, you can't so later. Because we don't got time. AI is coming, and we need to move. We don't got time. We make sure that everybody in this room does not pay tuition. That is like 90,000 rand per head. If you earn 2,800 rands a month, every month for 16 months, that is 48,000 rands per head. Before we open CJC and South Cape, you multiply that by 400. I don't know how many millions of rands you get. I don't have that kind of money, not for lack of trying. So when we say no, there's no more stipend, it's not because they are buying a private jet, it's because there's literally no much in the bank account. And I know not everybody can make a plan, but we're not going to be in a tussle with you. Not because we don't understand that life is hard, but because we can't afford an alternative. We've given you what we have. So we're not going to be in a tussle about I'm not coming to school because I didn't get my stipend. It's going to be like, I'm really sorry that we couldn't get you the stipend. But if you can't attend, we can't train you. And if we can't train you, we can't take responsibility. And if you can't take responsibility, then you can't be part of the cohort. That's the email you're going to receive. We're just going to let that percolate and settle it. Because that's the reality. Focus on the studies, guys. So my mom got laid off from work. My brother was full-time in business school because we were thought between my mom and I given this through the university. Suddenly I was 25 years old and I was the only person in my family that was earning an income to look after my family. Then the financial crisis hit and Deloitte was firing people left, right, and center, and it was scary. I don't even think my story is the most dramatic story in the room. People stand up and start telling you where they're coming from. That stuff is real life pressure, and life will test you. This could be the opportunity that changes your trajectory. My free tuition at Deloitte was mine. This could be yours. If it's yours, take it seriously. Don't be drunk at which 5 years from now you be busy with the right shifts and the right something. Yeah? You've met Kile. Kile's back, guys. We want to let you know. She was on maternity leave, she's back in the building. Take psychology. So that means she has a lot of empathy, but she has boundaries. Don't try her. I've watched how it ends. Don't try her. And she doesn't ask for much, and she doesn't ask for unreasonable things. Show up on campus, do your work, try your best. You'll get kicked out of thinking code quicker, for lying, for cheating, for trying to be clever, than you will for struggling to understand a concept. It takes longer to get to the point where it's like, we really try to help you, and we can't. And by we try to help you, it's not just the performance team, it's everyone in here has an opportunity to support you. That's not the quickest way out. The quickest way out I want to pretend that I'm listening to the right things, the right people, the right somewhere else. Yeah? Yeah. All said with love, by the way. All said with love, by the way. All said with love, by the way. So, welcome again. We felt like there was a lot of confusion. People didn't know who to consult for what. Is it important to attend? How many times can I have full stipend? How many days can I be in action for someone notices, etc., etc., etc. We had loopholes, you were exploiting all of them. And then we decided to press a very big reset button. Like I always say, you sign a contract on paper, it's got a list of to-dos and not to-dos. There's a social contract. The social contract is we're building a brand together that opens pathways for African people that are really smart to have a shot in tech so that they can build tech for us and the rest of the world. That's all we're trying to do. If that's not what you're trying to do, I respect that. This is just not the place to do that. So your attendance is going to be tracked, your submissions are going to be tracked, your performance is going to be tracked, you're going to get feedback. All of it is to prepare you for a better tomorrow. Don't get kicked out of the stupid shit. Don't touch people who don't want to be touched by you. Don't bully people who are different from you. And I know you're giggling, but these things have happened, right? Smart person, great results, but what were they doing? They saw a girl and she was pretty and apparently they couldn't help themselves. We don't tolerate it. You're out. It's not your cell phone, don't take it home. It's not complicated. If you're struggling, say something. Ask for help. If you're gonna be away, let us know in advance. Don't pay fake doctors to write letters for things that don't up to them. Add to the brand. Make it so that when I'm older, in a creaky chair somewhere, this thing is still going on, and all of us will purchase something that was bigger than each of us. Yeah? Yeah, that's the goal. I'm always really excited when you're new people, you're not so new, we're feeling back, we're treating like you're new. We're giving some of your past students. Going forward, though, not so much. The market is changing with AI. Placements have been slower than in the past. It's becoming a lot more competitive. You guys have got to lift your game. The data and the tests say you're smart. They say some of you have grit. Show up. Yeah? Okay. I'll take like 3 questions, if there are any. And then I'm out. Yep.
So this I want to ask this: where do students apply to graduate in the CETA education?
No, the work placement is not required to graduate, and it's not required for CETA accreditation. Your CETA accreditation does require that you have an NQF level 4 as a minimum. If you don't have an NQF level 4, you will still get the weekly code certificate showing that you graduated. But you need to do something called recognition of prior learning to show that you had an NQF level 4. The one who has accreditation will be the person to support you with that. Majority of our students will have an NQF 4, which is like the equivalent of matric. A few don't, and then we'll work with you to try and get you there. But your guarantee is that if you meet our criteria, you get the weekly post. Any other questions? Yes.
In preparation and in alignment with your discussion with AI, I know there is a lot of shortage of junior intern roles. How would you say the best way to make sure we get the role with the right AI?
Conversation that Scott was having, which is essentially learning the core competencies and then using AI to is really where I think for now the world is going. We're not yet, especially in South Africa, at the place where we're going to switch over to complete.
What's all about time for videos and events?
Yeah, it has increased. We are working on adding some AI capability into our curriculum. First thing. The second thing is the electives. When you pick up an elective, try to get deep in your understanding of that, because what's differentiating is the specializations. The challenge with the specializations is that, especially if you've never programmed before, it's hard to just suddenly become an expert at mobile development when you know nothing about programming. So what we give you is a lot of the foundational, and then the elective window is small. I would say the way you future-proof yourself from the changing hiring environment is to deepen your understanding in the electives, because then you've got like a very niche thing that you're good at, and then there are particular people that are hiring for that. The other thing is just intentionality around that. Like take the time to look at these different areas of programming and see, well, what is it? Does it interest me? Do I have the skills for it? Can I get really good at it? Hires for it. For those of us that are in the belly and are not exceptions, be practical. So a lot of people want to be game devs, which is great, but they're not that. So it might be something that you have to, for a while at least, continue as interest. If you're trying to get into a job, things like cloud, data engineering, blockchain, that kind of stuff is probably safer territory. Automation QA as well. South Africa has a shortage. We almost completely import automation QAs from India. I know most of the big banks have their entire automation QA. So that's a great question. Anyone else with a good question? I'm very good. Yes. Which add an intro to incorporating AI in your work, but as English, that's mandatory for everybody. But now I think the next way to go and look at adding is cybersecurity, because we feel like we've got most ones. We have blockchain, we have data engineering, we have cloud computing, we've got mobile, we've got spatial QA, but distributed someone, computers to be computers. So other than cyber, I don't think we're gonna have it any negatives. But AI we're gonna, because we think it's becoming kind of like a, it's quickly becoming a minimum requirement for everyone to have a permission to this. Do you see we think tools as a leader? Yes, we think we have the institution that I was. So when we started with year 5, which is the best, you are the first group to do the MPS 6, which is the diploma. And so we are ironing out the diploma stuff. Once the diploma is ironed out, we will add the MPS 7. We like to offer the MPS 7 tuition. It likely be that you guys done with the MPS 6, and then you will be asked to do final results. That's what's but that's not coming quick fast. It's going to take us at least 18 to 24 months to get that done, but we've started going there. Last question. I'll get to and we just make it to get on the street. Like, come on, and but the street where tuition have having budgeted space. So what the times are? I'm gonna purchase someone else, and I'm gonna have manage the attention of someone else is coming in. So we really don't have, because of the way they're set up, capacity for repeat the same. So my sense is just gradually, I would graduate 100%. But you always have a just graduate. And your powers. Right, experience, success rate, so we started electives in 2021, and we've added each year. So it's too early to compare the next 3 chapters because they haven't been all like concurrently for the big program. But the graduation data yesterday and the outcomes. What happens is proud of you? Sure, what proud? Yeah. And then you go from hyper people to hyper emotional action people, and then you fail. But why wrong catches you? So you cram and you ask ChatGPT and you know what you're doing. And then you get to Brown. And Brown is basically a combination of all the individual things you know. You now have to integrate it into one solution. So it's like, I don't know, when I studied biology, you study the eye, and then you study the ear, and then you study the whatever. You're a champion, you examine a whole human. So you guys cram the eye, you cram the ear, you draw the heart, and then the big exam happens. It's not an exam of the heart, whatever, it's an exam of what your past company. So that option is the one where generally you say they get to it. So don't, if you're struggling at the beginning, that's no. Don't quit and don't sit quietly in a corner. Make it everybody's business that you're struggling. Because if you get those fundamental pieces in and master them, then you wake up one day and suddenly you know what you're doing. Because I know that feeling when I learn anything and every page is you've got to persist through that friction. And then one day I think like a terrible. Whether if you cut corners or ask ChatGPT the wrong question, then wrong foot will get you. So please worry about graduating. Start thinking about where you want to end up in your life and in your career. Start researching the kinds of companies that hire for what you're interested in, understanding what you should be doing now. You guys, life isn't going to be like a 6-hour day of everything code and then magic happens. You know that, right? Yes. That's the minimum. So if you're doing the minimum, when you line up in front of people in a competitive world of hiring, you put like the minimum.
So, question. So, since to thinking also compare which within the instance.
The complexity actually didn't increase that much. The governance changed. So previously we were credited under what's called the MICT CETA. And the MICT CETA, what are they called? Unit standards, which is like the credits you get for learning, were very theory-based, where our training is very application-based. And so the consequence of that was it was hard to accredit the work that we were doing. So the NQF5 accreditation, I don't know the specifics, maybe someone like Peter or Ruan could know. The small proportion, about half of everything our students were learning was accredited under that format because of its structure. Then about 2 years ago, they switched from the MICT CETA accrediting to something called the QCTO, which is the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations. The QCTO, the way to think about it is it's like it's an apprenticeship type accreditation. So traditionally that would have been for like plumbers and electricians. So it gives a lot of credit for someone demonstrating they can do something and less credit for someone passed an exam about a database, rather they built a database. So when they switched us from MICT CETA to QCTO, suddenly a lot more of what our students were doing was actually recognized as valuable. Whereas with the MICT CETA, we would train our students to do something that they had to sit an exam, or can you research a database? And then our students like, I don't know if I can research a database, but you're going to build one. And so that's why what we had to add to get to NQF6 is actually not a hell of a lot. I think there's a few modules coming on mathematics and some spreadsheets and things like that. And even those are not like at an incredibly, like it's not at the level I was using spreadsheets when I was working as an accountant. It's very like introductory stuff. So that switch over enabled our model, which is a more work simulated environment, to be better accredited. That's why you get more credits for more or less the same amount of time. So it takes about 8 months to get each NQF grade. So 8 months for your 5, 8 months for your 6, 8 months to the 7. So they end up being more or less, 2.5 to 3 years to get a degree. But yeah. But if you're doing 6 hours a day, 4.5 days a week,
I think that's the last one. Then.
That's the last question. That's just all now. I was given 500, then got to 30. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys around. And one tip I'll give you is what I have observed is that the people that are generally very active on campus, the people you might make fun of because they seem like good cookies, and they're working at the front desk, and they go to hackathons, and they enter themselves with this, that, and the other, and they speak here, and they attend meetups. Those people do well in life when they fit reading code. I don't know this for a fact, but my suspicion is they start to build the practices that will carry them post-training while they are in training. And so they've got more to demonstrate about what they can offer, and they're more used to operating like that when they get to a workplace. So they're recognized quicker and they're promoted quicker. The people that are very passive, give me everything, I'm sitting here, if I pass all your tests, then the world is my oyster. Those folks struggle and they catch a wake up too late. So invest in yourself. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself and your loved ones and your future. Yeah. So best wishes, everybody, and I'll see you.
Okay. Before you guys go back to plugging in code on ChatGPT, as I said yesterday, the piece of paper that we gave you, it's just something that we like to try out. It is my understanding that different people were brought to within code for different reasons. It just so happens that some of us tend to forget those reasons. As soon as we meet other people and we are integrated with other people from different backgrounds and all of that. So it's easy for those people to just come to your desk and call you to lunch, even when you are not planning to go to lunch. And you're just gonna follow them because you just want to socialize, right? So what I'd like us to do, we have a memory box here. We're gonna remind you of these reasons sometime when you graduate, right? Please write on that piece of paper what brought you to within code. It can be sentimental. It can be technical if you want it to be. Before you start, boy, I saw a hand at the back there. Oh, you can't hear me. On those pieces of paper, please write the reasons why you came to within code, or one reason why you came to within code. Sorry? You write your username at the back. It's gonna be very useful, trust me. That was it's yeah.
And that. Which can yes, we don't success. Generous. And it's still online. Like, and I say, I think, yeah. I think it's on same Apple. People, yeah, yeah. It's a generational carries. That's how you get it done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. There is something trying to make us fight our reasons. It clearly get thoughts and different. It's like, I stand on a place here. Thank you. You can little students. Hey, yeah, that's all you can have. I don't know exactly about it. It's like something explicit. It's kind of like it, you want to still start on yes. I think you can give up your that side. You say hi to each. Say hi to each. And I'm going to today. You life story. Talk about life story. Not heaven, God. You know, I don't have hi, kids out. Yeah. So you said, like, hi, sparrows. Hi, sparrows. So, I think everyone's gone. Hi, sparrows. Hope we good, Jay. Now.
G just left laptop.
G is his laptop. Saying it's 20 J, that's late. Yeah. Say hi to people. Just you. What time did you no? Yeah, like that's down. Anything outside. You don't make I think. Let's do the evening. Come. I think that side. Nah, there's a box. Somewhere that side. Yeah. Yeah, there's a box. Did you see my username as a example? AC. Girl. I am the face. I am the face. Of course, you're that. No, no. This is not a black girl. This is a black girl. She said. Yeah. This is a black girl. There's no difference there. She does. That's difference. That's difference. I have some use it on Oh, like that.
Get my food cheese on. I don't think I'm trying to see what find some just they said my cheese. I'm ready for $2. How I would say one. Yeah, my mom, but my mom first like sweet, try try. Well done. Stop me. As to me, I still have. So I'm not I'm not helpful. My mom tried to get to now. When something did, I'm